just to make you more optimistic. So normally a continuing resolution it's just like, well, we can't agree on a budget, so we're going to kick the can down the road. We're going to continue funding the government at the levels we agreed to last time, with all of the rules that we attached to that funding last time. Now, they didn't quite follow that formula, because they did change some of the funding levels. And they did take out poor Congressman Kane's little community project, which he will not complain about, because that would require a little bit of courage. But there's nothing in there that explicitly says, Mr. President, you can ignore this. The point is, he is ignoring all past appropriations bills and directives. This is the opportunity Congress has to say, you can't do that. And if they pass that opportunity up and just give them more money at a time when Republicans are explicitly saying, we're going to ignore these directives, we're not going to treat this as a directive, then they're going to take that as a message that they can continue to do it. But legally, it does not put them in any different position.
We're no worse off.
We're no worse off legally. We're worse off in the sense that we will have missed an opportunity to use leverage. Now, let me give you another. This gets a little technical, but let me Congress nerd out on you. So there's a law called the Impoundment Control Act. The history of this is the Constitution says if Congress passes a law, Congress passes a budget, President has to do what the Congress said. And President Nixon said, no, I can impound money. And Congress said, no, you can't, but we're going to make one reasonable exception. Like, if you really think that something we told you to spend should not be spent, we're going to give you a mechanism to ask for permission. You have to come back to Congress and say, USAID, I no longer believe that feeding starving children is in the U.S. national interest. You can make your case to the Congress or the Education Department or whatever. And if both the House and the Senate vote to approve the impoundment, then it is legal. Now, what happens if the if the President doesn't do that, if he doesn't ask permission? Well, there is a nonpartisan official known as the Comptroller General. He runs something called the GAO, the General Accounting Office, which reports to the Congress. The GAO is super important because it does audits of the government. The MAGAs say no one ever audits the government. The government's audited every 5 seconds, and the GAO is one of the main things. And the Comptroller General, under this law, has the ability, when the President fails to ask for permission for an impoundment, he has the ability to blow the whistle and to report to the Congress, the President has taken all this money that was supposed to go to USAID, and he spent it on a giant TV in Elon Musk's office so that Elon can play video games. I didn't make that up, by the way. That's true. Not that they used the AID money for it. He did insist on video games in his office. And here's the magical part. When the Comptroller General blows the whistle on an impoundment, it has the same effect as the President asking permission, and Congress then has to vote to approve the impoundment, or it is not legal. So there have been a lot of conversations about this. Again, this guy's not in the public limelight. He's a nonpartisan official.
He'll get fired.
He's in the 15th year of a 15-year term that expires in December. I don't think he cares. The same guy, when we had the little impeachment to do over Trump and Ukraine, when he withheld the aid from Ukraine, the same guy formally found that that was an impoundment. So I think.
Why don't we know about that?
What's that?
Why don't we know about it?
Well, because you're not reading every one of my Twitter. I explained this 3 weeks ago. But you cannot, I'm not asking you to call the Comptroller General, right? He's not someone who can be publicly pressured. But this is a mechanism. He's not going to do it immediately because technically he's supposed to give the administration up to 90 days to review programs and to figure out what it's going to do. But I think we're also going to see that. We're going to see the Impoundment Control Act tested in that way, hopefully with votes in the Congress to say yes or no to some of the things that Trump is doing. And if they ignore that, it helps us in the court cases.
Does the filibuster apply to that vote?
Yeah, right.
No, it does not. So, but I don't think you would have a majority in both the House and the Senate for cutting the VA. I don't think you'd have a majority for even a lot of the USAID stuff, which is popular with Republicans. So it'll be an interesting test.